Okay, and so with the fear, I might come off like, oh, no big deal. That's what I have to tell my mind. I have had to get really strict. Like, we are not allowing any negative talk in this little garden in my mind. But my mind is always there. It is always like, this is worst case scenario. This is so bad. And it feels that way too. It's valid, but I have to just force my brain to be like, no, I am in control here. You are not in control. I am the captain of the ship. I get to choose which thoughts I'm going to agree with, which ones I'm going to dwell on. They're going to come in. They will. It's not like you just be positive and the fear's not as bad. It's horrible. It is so hard. It takes a lot of work to train yourself to catch those thoughts, and instead of going down that rabbit hole and agreeing with them and getting strung along, to being like, getting a little bit of your power back and being like, no, I don't care. I don't care if it's as bad as you say. I don't care if it really is. I refuse to dwell on that. I refuse to believe it. Maybe I'm being delusional, but whatever. That's what I've had to do. It doesn't make it any less real. It doesn't make it any less frightening. It is really hard to do that. I struggle every day. Every day it is like, I think that's why like the Christian stuff is helping me so much right now, because it's like, they say like, resist the devil and he shall flee. They talk about how you're always going to be tempted. That temptation doesn't go away. You're always tempted. But what do you do when you're tempted? When you're tempted to give into fear, do you give into fear? And it's easier said than done, I know, because it's like our system has been hijacked. It's like we almost don't even have control anymore. But if we can even get like a mustard seed of faith is enough. A tiny, teeny, little itty bitty, just even one word a day. I'm going to get through this. Just that one thing a day. Even if it's so hard to conjure up and you don't believe it, that's a mustard seed. And that mustard seed can grow. And that's what I've experienced, is like in those darkest moments where it's like, I'm never going to get out of this. This is too bad. I am the worst case ever. I'm not like these other people. I'm too far gone. This is too bad. That's what the fear is going to be telling you. The temptation is to agree with it. And it's going to give you all the proof to agree with it. And the challenge is being like, just with whatever strength that you have, even if all you can utter is the word no. 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 Even if you don't believe it, that's a seed. And it will start to grow. Maybe the next day you can say, no, I don't believe that. And then maybe the next day you can say, I'm going to get out of this. Blah, 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 blah. I know it sounds so cheesy and cliche and like way too simple for what we're facing, but I swear to you, where your mind goes, the body follows. So, yeah, and I know that's not all we got to do. I know there's a lot to healing this thing, but I swear it's the beginning. It is the beginning. If you can even find that little ounce of faith, that utterance of a little word no or whatever it is. And that doesn't mean you have to like not accept what's going on, but it's like, this is the way I see it. My mind is a garden and weeds are going to sprout up for sure. I'm not denying that there's not weeds. I'm not denying that there's not temptation. I'm not denying that I'm in a really awful situation. I see all of that. But if I have a choice to sit there and water weeds or flowers, I'm going to water flowers. I want my mind to be beautiful. I want to imagine beautiful things. I want to think beautiful thoughts. If I'm decorating my home, I don't want it trashed. And so I'm going to do everything I can, even if it's a little mustard seed, to just water the good things. Because either way, I'm watering something. I'm going to water the negativity or I'm going to water the positivity. And I get that choice. That is my power. That's my right. I remember like in Viktor Frankl's book, I can't remember how he said it, I'm going to butcher it, but it was like he came to this realization. He was being tortured And he's like, the one thing they can't take from me is how I choose to think about this. That's his power, and that was his autonomy. And that is what he grabbed onto. That was the one thing he had left. His power was how he thought about it and what thoughts he chose to agree and what identity he gave himself in his mind. And like that has been so powerful to me. I know I'm nowhere near in that situation. Like he went through something so awful. So many people went through such awful things. And I'm not comparing my situation to them, but to me, it's a really dark place and it's a really hard situation. And it's like my mind and body have been hijacked and I feel like I have no power, no control. I guess that's the rebel spirit in me. I'm like, damn it, if that is all I have, then that's all I have. But I will not go out feeling powerless. I'm gonna grab hold of whatever power I have and I'm gonna give you a run for your money. So if you think you're gonna take me over and I'm just gonna go out like a bitch and be like, okay, poor me. No, hell no, that is not my spirit. I am not gonna lose my identity to this thing. I'm a fighter, I'm strong, I'm powerful. I'm not a victim. I don't care if I only have one little sliver of dignity left. I'm gonna hang on to that. And how I think about this thing and what I agree with, that is my power and I'm gonna hang on to that. I will say, like, my daughter, I'm so proud of her because literally she was on her deathbed. A terrified 15-year-old girl who's facing death one day before her 16th birthday, and to the bitter end, not once did she ever let this thing win. She was like, even if I die, you die too. I will go to hell and I will haunt you, is what she said to the cancer. She refused to let anyone in the room who was gonna speak against her healing. She refused, even on her deathbed, she couldn't even hardly speak. And she was still like, I'm gonna heal. I'm gonna heal. This thing has no power over me. I think that's like one of the greatest human accomplishments, is that you can be against the most incredible pressure and you do not let it take who you are in your spirit, in your heart. It can take everything else from you. It can take your body. It can take control of your thoughts, really. It can take your life. It can take everything you love, but it's not going to take who you are, your identity. And your identity is you are strong. You are powerful. You are victorious. Think about it. Like, okay, in Christian circles, I know I'm getting annoying, but like they talk about like the reason that the enemy attacks your mind is because that is where everything starts. If he can get a hold of your mind and he can convince you against your healing and against who you really are, that's how he gets power over you. Like, this thing challenges you to really know who you are. Who am I? Who am I without the boyfriend? Who am I without the house? Who am I without the clothes and the makeup and the dancing or whatever? Who am I when you strip everything away and there's hardly anything left? Who am I? That is what we're here to find, who we truly are. And we're here to discover our power, because even in the darkest depths, we discover who we are and we realize that this thing, it can attack us in every way. It can take everything from us. But if we hang on to who we truly are, if we discover who we truly are, it only takes one little thought to come back from that deep, dark place. We are fucking powerful. It only takes saying, no, I'm not gonna agree with you. I'm victorious. I am strong. I'm a conqueror. That is who I'm gonna believe I am, no matter what is against me. And that's how I'm gonna go down. And I don't know, that's what I have to tell myself. The fear is there. Every single freaking day I get up and I feel like I'm gonna die. I feel like this is my last day here. This is definitely my last day here. There is no possible way that a human can survive this type of thing. I don't know how I've survived this long, because it just feels like this is what people feel when they die, right? There's gotta be. But then I have to like take a step back and be like, that is the program talking. Am I going to agree with it? Am I gonna sit there and regurgitate those thoughts and be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right? Or am I going to say, nope, I'm going to survive today. I'm going to go on to live another day. I'm going to heal. Whatever I got to tell myself, even if I don't believe it. And that is how I get through every freaking day. The fear is always there, roaring up. It tries to make me believe it's this big, scary monster that's too big and too overwhelming for me. But that's just because I forgot who I was. When I remember who I am, I'm like, you are nothing. You're a little shadow. And I'm not afraid of you anymore. It's like a bully. You got to stand up to a bully. And I know that this is like goes against like what people say about anxiety, but in certain ways, I think the anxiety, I know I'm kind of like in that push it attitude, but I feel like sometimes you got to get there. I feel like that really soft, like accepting, surrender, like all that works to a degree, but I feel like some of the greatest progress I've gotten is when I'm like, fuck you. I'm not living like this anymore. Fuck you. Even if all I have is the power of my own thoughts, I'm going to fight to get my life back. And I feel like that can be really powerful, even though they say, oh, you're not supposed to be fighting. Well, I'm not going to sit down like a bitch and just take it either. I'm no victim. It's like the schoolyard bully. It's like eventually you have to stand up to them and you have to get that confidence back. Give them a good punch. Be like, I'm no one to fight with, so knock it off. Fear, I'm not talking our bodies, our brains. I know they're doing all these things. There's reasons, there's scientific reasons. It makes sense, it's valid. But fear itself, anxiety, I should say, it can be a big bully, and we can let it get out of control. And sometimes we just have to give it a punch in the face and be like, fuck you. No, I am not who you say I am. I'm not going to believe that.